Pancake Monday.
We are all good. Let's get this show on the road.
We're all part of the Matrix.
Introductions, ladies and gentlemen. We are. No, I'm just playing.
Mighty Morphin.
You know what I'm saying? We are. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Man Cave Monday, and we back again. And I got the whole squad with me today. You feel what I'm saying? The whole squad showed up this time for y'all. You know what I mean? So who we got with us? We got Tez with us. We got Ness with us. We got Dre with us. We got Daze with us. And we got Dex with us. And we're going to get straight into these topics. Oh, wait a minute. I almost did it again. See, I told y'all last episode. I'd be skipping my own intro.
Yes.
Shame on a nigga for trying to run game on
At least you know you're selfless. You know you're selfless.
True. You know what I'm saying? And I am Bruce Wayne. No, I'm just playing. Now my secret is out. No, I'm just playing. I am JD, a.k.a. He Who Pods. And let's get straight into this mofo. So, we all know by now, if you didn't already know, I'm sure you know by now that we are at the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. Hip-hop the other day, well, by the time you see this about a month ago, turned 50 years old. And so, I think that it's safe to say all of us here have been influenced by hip-hop in some way. And so my question is, how has hip-hop influenced your life? And my bonus question, if you feel gangster enough, is who is your favorite rapper or rap group? So, I'll start off. Hip-hop has been a huge influence in my life. Many of these people here with me know that hip-hop was banned in my house as a young cub. You know what I'm saying? It was not allowed. It was, hey, turn that stuff off. We can't have that on in here. But, you know, I heard it on the radio, and I had an uncle who I was very close with, and he introduced me to hip-hop in many different forms. And at about 11, 12 years old, I started listening to hip-hop. And if you know me, you know my music, my life, everything I do is affected by hip-hop. It is my life. I understand today that hip-hop is a culture. Hip-hop has many different art forms and many different things inside of it, and I'm happy to be a part of the culture in more than one way. I don't know how I'd exist today without hip-hop. You know, a lot of people say hip-hop saved their life. I don't know if it saved mine, but it definitely completely altered mine in many great ways. And so I'll start there. Do I have a favorite rapper today? No. For many years, it was Jay-Z. Before that, it was DMX. DMX was actually my first favorite rapper. Rest in peace, DMX. Today, I don't have a favorite rapper. Favorite rap group? I mean, it's probably Wu, if we're being honest. But I don't think there's any active rap group that's my favorite. But if we're talking all time, yeah, it's probably Wu-Tang. Mostly because not only was their music as a group so great, they also each individually had great music when they went and did their own thing. You know, a lot of times we hear groups and we only hear them as a unit. You know, Wu-Tang is one of the groups where we had 9 members who each have solid music of their own. So I think Wu is probably the most diverse group when it comes to the art form. Everybody kind of has their own specialty. And I always think that's what has made them the flyest. But no, today I don't have a favorite rapper. If we're talking about active rappers today, it would probably be Nas or J. Cole. From people who are currently putting out music, it would probably be Nas or J. Cole. And so that's it for me. We can open the forum and have conversations, but I wanted everybody to be able to chime in and share their connection with hip hop. And you know, if you feel fly enough, you know, if you're not scared to put it out publicly, let us know who's your favorite.
I mean, I'll go. So the way hip hop has influenced me, my first album ever, owning any album ever in my life, was whatever OPP was on by Naughty by Nature, my first cassette. My mom didn't know how raunchy those lyrics were, how bad that album was. But at that time, it was very influential to me. But yeah, OPP was my first album, and I remember not being able to repeat 90% of the stuff that was on that album. But I grew up with like house music stuff, so like listening to that, it was very like hip hop influence as well. As we all know, like I took a very heavier turn towards my later age in life. But I, even when I was younger, I was very influenced with West Coast rap. I was like 7 years old, loving West Coast rap because that's what you saw on MTV. I've always wanted a Cadillac with the
Hydraulics.
the hydraulics and everything. I was big into G Funk.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, I mean, it all comes full circle because like when I got into metal, the bands that I liked were very West Coast influenced, like Korn, from the West Coast, had Ice Cube on a couple of their songs. They have Snoop Dogg in a couple of their songs, and so okay, it's pretty cool. But all in all, it was. No,
Listen, Alex want to be a part of the pod.
No.
He said, "Is there a boy cave?" I know this is man cave, but is there a boy cave? Can I be down, pops? What's up? I can't be on the pod. I see my godfather sitting right there. I see some cool cats I know and some cats I don't know. You know what I'm saying? What's up? Can I be down? You know what I mean? 17 like Brandy. She just want to be down. You know what I'm saying?
The boy basement.
You know what I'm saying? The boy basement. That's the next pod we going to do. You know what I'm saying?
I did not know we was going to get a Brandy reference tonight.
Actually, it's a Tupac reference about a Brandy reference. But, later. Go ahead, Tez.
But yeah, so like Korn and like Limp Bizkit was very heavily. Yes, I'm a Limp Bizkit. I did like Limp Bizkit when I was growing up.
You did go for the nookie.
I did, of course. Always. But they're very hip hop influence. And then, not for anything, if it wasn't for hip hop, I wouldn't be here in general with you guys. Like Nestor and I would have been friends naturally. You and I, we definitely went another level because we had a connection with hip hop. And
absolutely,
like with me and Jay, we could just say like one thing, like chicka chicka, and he knows Slim Shady. How did Slim Shady babies? So we finished, like we have that rapport with one another. And, I remember like our Spades night, we would have Eminem blasting. This is back when Eminem was, the guy.
Yep.
The Black Album, the Blueprints. We had all that stuff on loop. We all know that when the winter comes out, I start playing, even
That's
though
it.
Get the free beer sticking out,
You know what I'm saying?
But I was also telling Dre a story before we started, before you got in here. Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang's a big influence on like me and Dre having a connection because I remember when you introduced me to Dre, you're like, oh, he's big on Wu-Tang. Like, oh, Wu-Tang's a shit. And I know you wasn't too big on them just yet.
Yeah.
But I also remember like at this point, me and Nestor were watching Boondocks. And I remember you were kind of like repulsive against like, oh, it's a cartoon. I'm a grown ass man. Why am I watching cartoons? And I'm like, nah, bro. Yep. You got to watch this. Trust me, it's good. And then I remember that one night when we were in Dre's house before his ceiling fell on him.
Yo, the Sif secrets. These are not the droids you're looking for. They don't even know.
We were witnesses, we were witnesses.
That's right.
So I remember that day I remember that day was SoCal and Boondocks.
Oh, that's it, baby. Yes, and Bacardi.
Yep, and Bacardi.
Can't forget the remedy. You feel what I'm saying?
Two bottles of
Bacardi. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, and I remember like you watching that show and
my
you started surpassing
you. I was the worst.
That's it.
That's a fact. Great stories from that night, but go ahead.
The Sith Lord was corrupting all of us at one point.
That's
we're no longer Jedis.
You know what I'm saying?
Spy on me.
They did something. Did they make you feel uncomfortable?
Right.
Nah, I just remember, your cup kind of empty over there, bro. Like, what you doing about that?
You know what I'm saying? What's up? What's going on with your cup right now?
Yo, why you putting mad ice in there, bro? Man up.
I'm saying,
damn, bro.
Stop playing.
I ain't scared, son. I ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, while you at it, pick up that controller right there.
Or better yet, don't pick it up. Don't pick it up.
You don't want to pick up that controller.
I remember. If you guys remember the opening scenes of Boondocks, where the The little music that plays.
First episode.
No, it's not the episode. It's not the episode itself. It's
just
the music itself. You can tell like it's very, very cultured in hip hop.
Yeah, it was produced by RZA.
Yeah. And I remember you bumping to it. I'm like, oh, you don't like Wu-Tang though. You don't like Wu-Tang. And Jay's like, I'm gonna put you on, bro. I'm gonna put you on. And then like Boondocks just became our circle. It became our thing. To the point that you surpassed me and like, yo, you watched that episode? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not yet. Yeah. And you get mad at me, like, why the fuck you haven't watched that episode? Like, right there, you I'm coming out of work, I'm sleeping. But I remember, it definitely ties us all together, and to the point, you and I have matching lyrics. I was just talking about this with somebody.
That's a fact.
From Joe Budden. And to add on, like, how has hip hop influenced me or has affected me? It's been I gravitate more to my style of music, which is more the metal and stuff. But I can tell you, during my divorce, a certain album came out at a very crucial time. All of Lost is definitely a staple. It's forever. And that album too is also like me and Daze bonded on that because we all went to the concert that night.
2 concerts.
Two.
We went to that concert. It was a vibe, man. We were all there emotional. Just feeling some way.
Surrounded by women, friends. Surrounded by women.
Yep, that's it. It was a great time, though.
Best time.
But like, what I remember most about that night is the 3 of us enjoying that album for 3 different reasons, right? I was going through some stuff. I believe Daze was going through some stuff, but different than my stuff. And Jay was just happy that he got 2 of his best friends right here, vibing out, singing Joe Budden, who he put me onto. So I don't know, I don't know his influence on that, but I just remember like that was. I've been to a lot of concerts. That Joe concert is that specific Joe concert means more to me than like a lot of concerts that I've been to.
Well, can I add to your story? It was our first time seeing Joe Budden in concert. We left that out. All 3 of us at the same time.
Yeah.
That's actually my first hip hop concert. So,
hey, look at that
big production hip hop concert. I mean, I've been to you guys.
Okay.
I just have seen you guys.
I appreciate that. I see how you did that. Appreciate you, Taz. You respectfully. I've been to yours here, but it wasn't like that.
No, but it was great. Like the thing I remember most that night is that Only Human. Like when Amani started playing started singing like Only Human, I felt every word hit me, bro. Like it was different, and still to this day when I hear that, I just get flashbacks. You can ask Jay. I'm always sending him like that same concert that because there's somebody recorded it like that was right next to us, and you can hear if you get like the really good headphones, you can really hear like Jay like yelling at certain points or me yelling. But it's just that moment that was captured. I'm happy that somebody captured that moment in time because it's something that first off that venue doesn't exist anymore. It closed down.
Yep.
Oh yeah, facts.
And it was just a night where we all like I said, I cherish that to this day. As far as to circle it around, favorite rap group is going to be the Wu. I mean, Bring the Ruckus. That first track.
It could be rapper too. What about a favorite solo rap?
What solo rappers? We're gonna get there.
All right, my bad, player. My bad.
But Wu's for the kids, like it's generational.
That's it. Wu-Tang is for the children.
That's what it is.
You know what I'm saying?
And hold on, let's talk about the show, okay? I don't know. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you're watching this on tubes of views, watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It's great.
The soundtrack. Jay and Ness can tell you I do not do movies. I don't. That's not my thing. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to go, but I was like, I got the kids here. Let's go. I was expecting to fall asleep halfway through. Nah, man.
I told y'all I took baby girl last week, and I immediately hit the group chat and was like, "Yo, Ness, Tez, you gotta see this shit." And the whole soundtrack is 90s hip hop. You gotta check it out.
It's like Transformers. The last Transformers is all 90s hip hop. And just like, damn.
Transformers is crazy.
But also, I think they're going.
Yeah.
We still go?
Yeah, still go. Always still go, baby.
So my thing is, I think movies are onto something, and I hope they don't oversaturate it too much with too much '90s hip hop, because '90s hip hop is timeless in my opinion. It's one of those things that, like, you know, how certain music is just no matter what year it is, you can still listen to it and it still hits the same way, or it increases the value because you have nostalgia added to it, right? But like the Transformers, I remember like going with Jay, like, yo, they're playing this, yo, what? And then, not for nothing, the fact that they were playing "I Like It Raw" and
You know what I'm saying?
Turtles, I was like, excuse you,
Right.
you know, obviously heavily censored, but you know,
Hey, listen, it's for the kids. You know what I'm saying?
but yeah, hip hop is a strong statement, man. I mean, I'm happy that it lasted 50 years.
Plus,
you know,
still going.
Of course. You know, it inspires a lot of music that I listen to, because if you look at the roots of hip hop, it's like from funk, and funk goes into everything. If you go into like the nest of music, but it's definitely created its own way. Has inspired millions. You know, from Run DMC to LL to Wu to J. Cole to, you know, the modern day rappers.
Countless names, yeah.
It's just not my type of rap, but I mean, at the end of the day, to each their own. And my favorite single rappers to wrap it up is J. Cole and Joe Budden to this day.
Okay.
Sweet. Wait, before
I'll throw Fab in there just to make it 3. Okay.
Hey, okay.
Okay.
Real quick before Fab is the man. Before we move forward, I just want to say real quick, I want to cut you off. I actually have a similar story about my first album that I ever bought. My first album I ever bought was DMX, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood.
Great choice.
My family
That
was
had to
like
be like 98. That was
Great
like
choice.
98, 99.
Great.
Thank you.
That's a
Thank
great
you.
place.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry.
Because
I just
all I
remember.
knew at the time was I saw Slippin' on MTV and was like, man, I really feel like this song just connects with my young soul.
That track is hard. That track is hard.
I remember arguing with my family. They're like, you can't buy that. I'm like, but I have money.
Hold on.
And I have a cassette player. Like, yo, let me live. Like,
Hold on.
Wait, but here's where it gets real crazy. Like, I used to buy all my tapes and CDs from Amadou Diallo. No joke. Right in front of KFC on 14th and 2nd.
Wow.
I didn't know till years later that that's who he was. He was the bootleg guy. Like he was the music guy, and that's the first project I ever bought. I bought it from Amadou Diallo, and son, my parents were like, "I don't think you should be listening to this." And I was like, "Son, I need that in my life, son." And I was just walking, and like Ted said, I couldn't repeat any of those lyrics. I was walking around like, "Wow,
well, hold on.
This guy's saying some stuff."
Let me peel back the curtain just a little bit.
Go ahead, get him.
At one point, you were getting the censored version of those albums, and I remember like,
son, they
I
was
was like,
hating on me.
I was like, yo, what is this, bro?
Son, the family. I told y'all, rap was not allowed in my crib. Son.
Days. Here's the funny part. One day,
allowed.
Jay starts reiterating lyrics, right? I'm like, that's not the lyrics. He's like, bro, yes, it is. Put the CD on.
That's
I'm like, oh man, I don't know what convoluted version you got.
Son.
Let me go to my LimeWire real quick and show you the track.
It's a LimeWire.
Son, I know it's not Days' turn yet, but Days. Remember those LimeWire sessions?
Son.
I say I'm gonna let somebody else go. Okay, anybody else can pick it up. But I just wanted to share that I too have a wild first album story.
He worrying about the song, right? They talking about caminando, cuidado, he's slipping. You gotta be careful. You know, they worrying about you falling, Jay.
That's what made me want to listen to it. That's all I knew.
You know?
Son, then next thing I know,
cuidado, caminando.
Son,
you
next
walking,
thing I know,
you gotta be careful. You might slip and fall.
Next thing I know, nigga, I pressed play. That nigga said, "Used to be my dog. You was in my left titty."
That was it.
Screamed, "Ride or die."
Thought you would
die
with me.
I was like, "Ooh, what is this right here? What's going on in my headphones right now?"
With that drop? With that drop too?
Come on, son.
Oh, man, we said at the same time. That drop was crazy.
Facts.
It's not my turn. It's not my turn, because you said, you know, I was born in this shit. I'll be here for days.
Well, we don't have days.
That's why I went first.
You got days.
That's why I went first.
You got days.
You.
No, Taz, we're still talking.
No,
Hunter
I'm
Taz
done.
is on.
He said, "You." Taz was still talking. So
Not to. He's done.
No, he's good. He's good. Anybody could jump in.
okay, I'm curious about Ness.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
this
curious about
nigga
Ness.
just calling
That's why I
people
love
out
this
now.
pod. That's why I
Calling
love this
people out
pod.
now. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I don't know if hip hop had a big influence on my life. I mean, in general, I like music, just all different types. I'd say like I'd lean more towards like dance or house music, but I mean, hip hop is there, right? It's part of that. It's part of everything. Um, because even at its roots, when it started, that's what it pulled from. It pulled from like disco and all of that to like become so much more. And it's it's amazing. Just I do enjoy the music. I love so many different artists that I've listened to, like even from like a little kid listening to like Pun and Eminem, um, and then going into like fusion artists like Linkin Park and just having that like chance to like feel different parts of music that I enjoy. Um, as for now, I'd say like recently.
About to say you haven't mentioned your favorite guy yet.
I know I'm not there.
I
Yeah,
know, I'm about to say. I was waiting because
Pressure,
son,
Jay.
I lost
was
son
pressed.
because
Yeah.
I'm now we
Nah,
peeling
so-
back curtains.
yeah,
like
yeah,
son,
yeah.
how many
So-
concerts we went to for this
right,
dude? Like
right. So literally, like my first concert, I think like period, was with Jay, and we went to see Lupe Fiasco, and he's been like my favorite artist since hearing him.
Wow.
I'm like really, really into like lyricists and storytellers, and that's like the kind of music I enjoy. I mean, I do like enjoy different parts, but that's like stuff that like speaks to me because it's like, oh, there's something going on here, and then
Okay.
I love the way Lupe did that. And I love the way he just like layers meanings, and he'll start the verse with something and by the time he ends, he's still talking about it, but not really. He's talking about something else altogether, but it's like, oh, wait, that had to do with that first line. Oh, that's crazy. And how it relates is insane. And then in what was it? The Cool, I think was the one that like the whole album is a whole story. Like every single track is like different characters, and like when you put them all together in an order, they're like it tells a whole story.
yeah, it's the cool.
And it was amazing. And I was like, this is just like when I learned that, and like once I heard Lupe, I just went into this just like deep dive and just like downloaded everything I could find of him, all of his mixtapes, just absolutely everything. He had like this one mixtape I fell in love with because
With the Monopoly joint.
no, it's what was it called? I forgot what it was called. But it was basically he took like a bunch of Gorillaz tracks and then just rapped all over them. And like that's probably like my top mixtape of his because it was just insane, and I love the Gorillaz and I love all their beats and the way they throw everything. Just it was insane. And then even to now, like he just keeps putting stuff out. Even when he did his little British pop punk phase with yeah, I don't remember names. That's crazy. Anyway,
I'm the same way, bro. I'm the same way. I feel
that
you on
was
that.
like I was just like boggled my mind, and like the way he played it off like it's a completely different person. Well, it's not me. Nah. And it was really awesome. Just all the music he's done, I've absolutely loved it. And then as far as like modern artists, I don't know. Like I kind of just listen to music as I hear it, so people don't stick with me as much. But there's no one that I've like
Interesting.
latched onto like that the way I did when I heard Lupe. For sure, there's like no other artist that like affected me like that I just like and I had to hear absolutely everything. I mean, I do that. Like I hear something I like, and I'll just like find everything I can find, but it's nothing that like was to that level that I did with Lupe Fiasco like that. Yeah, I mean,
What's your group?
now modern artists. I mean, I kind of like a lot of the things I hear. I think fucking Lil Nas X is like mind-boggling, like how talented he is. And it's absolutely insane. Like every time, everything I've heard from him has been amazing. I don't think I've heard anything from him I've like disliked. So yeah, I don't know if anything. Oh, as
Group?
far as yeah, I'd say probably another favorite of mine for sure, 100%. New Jobs or New Jabes. He was amazing. He does a lot of hip hop anime tracks.
Okay.
And he does like anybody that watches anime 100% knows who he is. Anybody that's into any of that knows who he is for sure. He did soundtracks for like if I'm not mistaken, it was Samurai Champloo and another one. There was another anime that was out around the same time as Samurai Champloo did the soundtracks for it. He's amazing. Asian Kung Fu Generation from like J-pop, J-rap and stuff. And then even in that same vein, in that same route of my nerdiness, I have to definitely mention MC Frontalot, who did a lot of like nerd rap, and it has a name too. I remembered it
Nerdcore?
earlier. It's gone. Nerdcore. Thank you.
I got you, player.
And he amazing too. Like he's actually considered the godfather of nerdcore. Like it's
Not Childish Gambino?
no, he was doing this way before Childish Gambino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and then even then Gambino isn't really nerdcore.
I mean,
Like-
I never felt he was, but I remember when
Yeah.
Childish Gambino, his hip hop music was popular.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "He's the king of nerdcore. He's the king of nerdcore," and I was like,
Right, because like he kind of
really-
he'll do references, but that's always been there.
Yeah, I'm like, I
That's
don't
always
really
been a
think
part
that's-
of hip hop is like game comic
Yeah.
references. That's always been there.
Yeah.
And then even if you go back to like his older stuff before like his premiere album, like it's there, but it's not quite nerdcore. It is a bit more quirky, so it's a little bit closer to nerdcore than his like mainstream stuff, but it's still not quite nerdcore.
Yeah.
And then even then, by the time he was making music, nerdcore was already like established. And MC Frontalot was like at the forefront of that.
Okay.
And like, boom. And I think like the big difference is like the songs are about those things. So like he did songs about conventions. He did songs about D&D. He did songs like about video games. Like it wasn't referencing them. It was
Got
like
it.
literally about these things.
That's interesting.
And so it was like this like big thing, and I think it's huge. It's not as big as it used to be for sure, but it was definitely something that like was impactful and made sense at the time too. Like it really was something that was important to all of it to include with that.
I
Gotcha.
got a Lupe story, Ness.
Yeah.
I got a Lupe story, man. I was holding it in while you was talking, son.
Okay.
Bro, I gotta keep it real with you, man. I was on tour, and we made a stop in Atlantic City. I remember I was backstage, and I think it was like when he first came out, because he did perform Kick Push. Well, we started to engage in like this real intellectual conversation, right? And we were building. And at the time, I didn't really know much about him. I knew of him, but I didn't know like a lot about him as far as like fandom. But I knew enough about him, you know, being a hip hop artist myself, you know what I mean, to be able to, you know, acknowledge him and speak and have certain levels of conversation. But I will say, while we were conversing, they were coming to me to, you know, get my stuff ready to perform or whatever. So there was like a brief moment where they kind of cut the conversation, but we weren't done. So they like distracted me. I'm like, yo, hold on 1 second. So they're talking to me to get the show ready, and bro, he waited there until they were done so we could finish building. And bro, I remember that, like, I will take that with me to the day I die, bro. Like, cause any other artist, they're the shit is like, I'm waiting for this dude. You feel what I'm saying? But the conversation was just so deep and so powerful. You get what I'm saying? Like, he waited, and then I resumed, and we continued, and we finished, and he just showed me so much love, bro. And I will always remember him for that. Like, I'm not really privy on his music like that. Like, I know some of his records, but like for me, I usually don't associate the person with the music. But for him, because I met him in that space in that way, like I just every time I hear the music, I just think about the level of respect and love he showed me being backstage that day. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So then my transition, right?
Mhm.
I wanted the OGs. I wanted the OGs. I want to hear a different perspective.
Mine wasn't different enough.
No, yours is very different. We're talking about historical.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. But there is one thing that Nessa touched on that I wanted to also touch on too. I miss so much the mixtape era. I miss it so much.
Absolutely.
I miss getting your haircut and then getting a mixtape. Like when Jay used to come to the crib, yo, I got this new mixtape. And then we'd be like, the song is ass, the song is ass. And then we heard like the one, right? Like Shotgun from Fat Joe. I don't like Fat Joe. But that song, yeah, stops being Fat Joe. That yes. Yes, we do. But I remember just listening to that version, or there's a specific mixtape version of "Breathe" that has a scene from Training Day. Like we couldn't listen to the regular "Breathe." Like, no, take that shit off. Put on the real version.
That's a fact.
That was every time.
Breathe. I'm surgical with this bitch, Jay. Breathe. Yeah, that was yo, sons. You gotta stop doing this. I got a story about that too. You gotta stop doing this. I used it as my voicemail. As my voicemail, and one of my managers called me. He called me, and it went to voicemail.
Oh shit,
son! How he called me back? Like, we don't have policy.
You okay?
He said we don't have policies in place for voicemails, but after that one, we might have to put one. We might have to. That was it was heavy. I was like, "Did you breathe though? Did you not?"
Where?
But you're not getting away, Days.
Yeah,
it's
go
your
ahead,
turn. Let's go. Let's go.
Man, go in.
You got all these stories. Let's go.
Go in, Dave.
Man, I wanted to hear Dre and them though, because I wanted to hear from a different perspective.
You already
and then I
sparked.
was going to
You already sparked, Days. You already sparked this. Okay,
well, we should keep going, right, while we recording.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, man, I was kind of born into this hip hop situation, man. When I really think about it, as far as culturally, artistically, since I can ever remember. But I think I gotta narrow it down to what stories I would share. Yeah, because hip hop was already.
I'm the same way.
Already embedded in me.
It's
it was
rough.
around me. You feel me? I was born into it. I grew up in it. Being in my first video, 4 years old. I forgot the brother name, Sean Head, something like that. But
Sean Head.
yeah.
Wow.
We were walking.
All right.
Yeah.
Who's the captain?
Yeah. Shout out to Mom. Look, see?
Yeah.
That was it.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
it, actually. Shout out to my mom.
That was the jam.
Shout out to my moms and my aunt. We were walking by. I think we were going to the playground and coming from somewhere, and he was looking for some kids to be in the video, and he was like, "Yo, got him right here." So that was our first, one of my first experiences. I could say that I can remember far back. Heavy D. Me and my brother dancing with Heavy D and the Boys in concert.
Ooh.
I was like 5 years old. My brother probably was like 6. I caught stage fright. That's fire. I caught stage fright, but my brother was killing it. You dig? Like I was there frozen. Heavy D and the Boys. And what's that song it was? I just heard it the other day that they was playing. I don't know if it was somebody that loved me for me. I don't know if it was that one or if it was the other joint. Now that we found love, what a week. That was it.
No doubt.
Now that we
he did a great remake.
That was it right there. I should, right? Because of the connection, I should do like a remake of that, right?
Go
Something like
ahead,
that.
you put it in the air now. You have to do it.
Right? I'll put it in the air now. Plus 50 years of hip hop, we got to give Heavy a nice tribute, man. That brother was very kind, very candid, I could say, throughout the course of the whole situation. I would have to say, wow, how could I do this, man? Writing music at the age of like 7, 8. I'm saying music was warranted in my career. My dad's an artist, so he would just buy albums. And I remember we talked about this on the last pod. Shout out to my dad. The first time I ever seen like a tape player that could switch itself to the other side. I don't know if you ever remember that.
Oh yes.
You remember you might be busy. We ain't got time to switch the cassette tape over.
It was
what I'm saying?
It was called auto reverse. So it would just
Auto
like flip
reverse.
and you'd be like, oh wow, like that was a special feature. Sony came out with that shit.
Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Pop. See, my pops was an artist, so while he was painting and drawing a picture, he ain't had time to get up and switch it to the other side. Might break the focus.
It sound like it sound like a transformer when they did. It'd be like.
That's a whole.
You'd be like, oh, it just flip on you. Yeah, I remember that shit.
Would it say side B though? Would it say side B though, Jay? It would say it, right?
The tape would say, but you just have to. Once you hear that sound, you knew. Boom, we flip into the next side. We just do it on its own. Yeah.
Because I think my pops used to be like side A, side B.
Oh,
like,
yeah. He had to fly shit. Some of them would do that. Yeah.
See,
just let you know.
he was
It's flipping on you. It's flipping. Yeah, no doubt.
Shout out to Pops. Shout out to Pops, the official. Shout out to the moms too. Moms and Pops, they've been like that's why I'm saying I'm blessed, man. They was able to guide me in a direction and steer me towards hip hop and make sure that I was heavily involved. You feel what I'm saying? I would say favorite artist, Jay, man. Jay-Z. I was born and raised in the style, so Jay-Z's like Jesus and Biggie wrote the Bible. You feel what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? So that's my guy. I live 4 blocks from Jay. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so it was like right there, echoing, from blocks away. Modern artists, I would have to say K-Dot, Kendrick, Hard Body. You know what I mean? If I had to pick a trio, of course it would be Drake, Kendrick, and Cole. You feel what I'm saying? And because I discovered them in that way, I think it probably would have to go in that order. I think it was Drake, Kendrick, and Cole, or Drake, Cole, and Kendrick. But I would have to put Kendrick before Drake. But yeah, I would say Kendrick, Cole, Drake.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if that makes a group. But
it doesn't. But that's okay.
Right? I'm trying to make my own group.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I gotta put Joey in there too. I can't leave Joey out. You know what I mean? I have to put Joey in there. Group Wu-Tang, of course. You know what I mean? Grew up on Wu-Tang. We used to sing that 436 Chambers like it was a Bible verse. You feel what I'm saying? And it was a lot of us, so we was able to trade places. Like, yo, I'm gonna be son today. You gonna be. Now I'm meth, nigga. You always meth, B. Come on, son. Yo, I'm telling you. Shout out to my uncles. We was close in age range, so they was into the kicks and all of that. So we was privy to all of that stuff. The video games with the music playing and stuff like that. My uncle, shout out to my uncle. I bust into his room, noticed them in the cypher. That was like one of my first introductions to like hip hop, like rapping. Bust open the door, cloud of weed smoke, him and his friends in the cypher. I was probably like, 6, 7, something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. They lived up in Harlem. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Then I was gonna tell my DMX story too. I don't know if I should save it for the for the pod, because I met DMX personally. I think I was like 11, 12 years old, something like that. 11, 12 years old. My cousin, he was known in Harlem, so he had a close connection with artists and celebrities and all that. And I hung out with D probably the whole weekend. Not like in one shot. We went home and came back. You feel what I'm saying? And my cousin was older than me, so for the people that probably be like, damn, he was 12, what was you doing there? My cousin was older than me, so I was with him. You feel me? But he knew D. He actually told me he knew D. And I didn't believe him, but when we was walking down 125th and DMX called his name, I was like,
now you gotta believe me.
Son, no, son, DMX, he's calling you, son. And he's like, son, I know, but I'm like, son, he's calling. And it's Simon. Yo, Simon, like, he really talk like that. I'm like, Simon, yo, Simon, I've been trying to get in touch with you all day, son. Like, You feel what I'm saying? I've been hollering at you all day. Like, where you been? And I'm
Right.
just like, yo, this is serious. You feel what I'm saying? And I actually met a few people that night, hung out with a few people, the LLs, K Solo, Redman, Little C's, Lil Kim, Mace. Wow, it was a lot of people that night. You feel what I'm saying? Like, for real, for real. Like, so, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I got so many more to go. I'm gonna leave it there for y'all. I don't know what I left out. If I left anything out, please let me know.
I mean, I was gone for part of it, so.
Nah, I didn't start till you came.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I didn't start
Even
till you
better.
came. Pause. Niggas like pause, right? But now I love
You're
you.
too old for that, man.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm. See, it's funny you said that. Like you saw the Jada Kiss clip, but it was a clip that I was trying to make fun of that Jada was in. He said that, and then after he said they was too
Oh,
old,
yeah?
he followed up and said pause after he said
That's
that.
funny.
And it made it so much more funnier. But
That is funny.
yeah, I love hip hop.
All right, so we. Oh, my bad.
So I love hip
apologize.
hop. I'm one of those people that it changed my life. I know Jay mentioned that earlier, but yes, it changed my life. I don't know where I'd be without it. Took me places I've never been, grew me up, matured me, introduced me to people that I never thought I would meet, conversations I never thought I would have. I could definitely say I don't know where I would be without hip hop and this shirt that I got on right here. So I would just keep it above. So I'm gonna just leave it like that. Let the church say amen.
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 Amen. All right.
Right, so Dex and Dre, you know, y'all brothers are wise enough to have been here from
Oh,
its
yeah.
inception.
Oh,
so
yeah.
we gonna get our
No
popcorn
doubt.
ready. We gonna get our
No doubt.
popcorn ready for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I'll go. Dre.
All right.
I grew up in a Trinidadian house. Calypso music, but hip hop came in. We listened to hip hop too, and I mean, it was the culture. Brooklyn, New York. It was the culture. I remember wanting a Kango hat, but my father had a Kango hat, but he didn't have the Kango hats that the kids wore. But I wore that. You know what I mean? Had the tag said Kango.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kango with the fur on it. You know what I mean?
No.
Oh man.
Spot him, got him. Spot him, got him. Spot him, got him.
All right.
Nigga said spot him, got him. Let's go, Jay.
You know what I'm saying? And Tez, I appreciate the background. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
My man through some love lost up
No
there.
doubt.
You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
you listen. That was the album that you didn't. You was like, I'm like, nah, bro. There's
I
some
like
bangers
all
on it. Like, I love all of them too, but this
no.
is the one.
I didn't like no. You're getting confused. My least favorite of the three is the first one.
No Love Lost. Yeah.
No Love Lost.
Yeah.
Some Love Lost is the shit.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet. Arguably one of Joe's. I don't think arguably, but some people argue one of Joe's best projects.
Yeah, but I love it though. Yeah, you told
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
Graffiti in the back of the
Sorry.
beat.
Graffiti is a
Fully here
loosely
yet. There we go.
pop, scratching the phonograph with the volume, using that like a fader,
Recording.
popping and locking, and I rapped. And the thing was, and then I didn't have a MPC or anything or SP1200. I did the pause routine with the record. You took the break beat, you paused it, and you looped it around and made a whole long beat tape. And you stuck a freaking headphone in the microphone jack to rap in the headphone. I mean, I did all that. I did all that. I rapped for years. I rapped for whole years, and I had this. So hip hop was a big part of my life, and the absolute reason I'm in this podcast right now. There is no denying. It is an absolute. There's no other way I'm here, but because of hip hop. There is an undeniable. There's no other chance. You know what I mean? Just me enjoying, and that was the other thing. I started. When you hear what my favorite rappers are, you'll know what I enjoy that indie rapper lifestyle. I enjoyed watching those guys, and that's why. I mean, say no more. Two people in here who are very near and dear. That's why I'm here. That's the rap I like. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So I'm all over the place. But yes, I did it all. I did all that stuff. So I love hip hop. It's a big part of life. Clothing, all that good stuff. And I was just a regular kid. I was no big, some big, you know, in the street or anything. I was just a regular kid, a Caribbean kid at home. My favorite rappers, though, undeniably, I mean, of course, Wu-Tang. That's a fact.
Yeah.
I had the Protect Your Neck on cassette tape with the other side was Method Man. I had that cassette tape. White, it was all white, and it had the drawing of the sword. What I mean? I had that. So Wu-Tang, but my line, I got to run down a few more names. And of course, to me, the big three, I mean, of course, Run DMC, but to me, the big three was Rakim, Kane, and KRS-One. That was the three. Three different lanes, three different styles, distinct rap styles that you could go down. Right? Three different, undeniable. You know what I mean? So, to me, those are the big three, the Rushmore three of rap. And then you went down those lanes. You want to be a conscious rapper, you was going to do stuff like KRS. You want to be super scientific, just change rap, Rakim. Or you could be the braggadocious and change rap, as Kane. That was my thing. But my favorite group, undeniably, is anybody in native tongues. De La Soul, undeniable. Tribe Quest, undeniable. Jungle Brothers, undeniable. I have to say it because I wasn't in the street. I was just a kid who went to school. And finally, there was rappers who they were just rapping other stuff. You know what I mean? I love the tough guy stuff, but I'm not a tough guy. I want. There they were. You know what I mean? So it was the native tongues. Nice. Then anything that came after that, Biggable Planets, Camp Low. Camp Low is dope. You know what I mean? The Souls of Mischief, Far Side. I go to the Outcast. Anybody who started being different in their style. That was my thing. Of course, I listen to Wu-Tang and I love Jay-Z and Nas and all that stuff too. I don't have one favorite rapper. I just like rap.
I forgot to mention Nas too. My bad, Nas. I forgot to
mention Nas. Absolutely Nas. Like I can't. Yeah, of course I love Jay-Z. I love Nas. I love everybody. All those guys too. But it was the native tongues. That was my people. That was
Dex, you still remember something you wrote? Could you give us like 6 bars?
Yes. I'll give you something real quick. I thought about it. I thought about it. I said, if somebody asked me, I'll give you
it's gonna be me.
I'll give you 4 bars. I'm trying 4 bars right off the bat. I bring more than suffice skills to defrost ice grills. I'm in your cipher covered in the blood Christ spills, poetically waxing your auditory faculties. Want some challenging lyrics? Come and tackle these. That's all I
got.
Yes.
I don't got
the funny thing is too, hip hop. I'm chopping up beats today. I still make beats. I'm still chopping up beats. I almost forgot that. I'm actually still making beats. I played guitar with it, but I'm sampling and chopping up beats today.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So hip hop is still in my life.
Yeah.
And a fun fact for those who don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone here knows, but for those who don't know, Dex has produced records for me in the past. Some that you probably heard and liked.
There's some challenging ones too. The anonymous beat was pretty challenging, but I did it.
Listen, that's the most famous one. That anonymous record.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what that did.
Yeah, totally. So that was great.
I mean, listen, there's a music video that I didn't make on the internet with that beat and song, and they created their own video around it. I'll send it to you.
Also, I've made some great cameos in JD's videos too.
Oh yeah. Listen. For those
I made some awesome cameos.
Awesome cameos. You know what I'm saying? Dex, for those who don't know, before this pod, anytime I talked about Dex to someone, I was like, oh, if you listen to my music, you already know Dex. They're like, no, I don't know Dex. Who's Dex? I'm like, I'm telling you, if you ever seen any of my videos, there's a guy with dreads. They're like, yo, that guy with dreads is in all your videos. Why is that? I'm like, that's my guy. That's my guy. He's in every video. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. And let me know. Yeah, I didn't mean to just say a whole bunch of the other rap stuff, but raucous. That whole raucous sound bombing era was great too.
Mm-hmm.
I hear
That
that.
was my joint. All indie rap, native tongue. That was my kind of company flow. Those type of guys. Yeah,
Far Side, Fu
those my guys.
Schnickens, right?
No,
Oh,
no, I like the
Fushnikins, yeah.
Predicted.
Yeah, Fu
Oh yes.
Schnickens
You
was
know,
in there
yeah,
too.
Oh yeah.
Yo,
yeah,
let me
definitely.
tell you
Yeah,
something.
Jungle Brothers.
Now
Jungle
I gotta
Brothers.
cut people off. I'm sorry. Now you got me hyped. Dre taught me about the Fushnikins.
yeah,
And let me tell you something.
yeah.
Let me tell you something crazy. Let me tell you something crazy. I say when I'm around my daughter and don't want to curse, I say, yo, what the Fushnickers was that? And my daughter says, Dad, what the Fushnickers just happened? She has no idea. She has no idea. No idea. But when I need to drop an F-bomb around her, that's what I say. I'm like, yo, but what the Fushnickers is Days doing right now? And that's what she'll say.
Wow.
That's what's up.
So
Be
that's it.
so
Go
dope
ahead,
when she
Dre.
find out. That's gonna be so
Word.
dope when she find out.
You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Dex, hold on. Yeah, I text you. Yep.
She might
Go
say
ahead.
who's cursing. They might put on some Fu
Yeah.
Schnickens. Hey, who's cursing?
yo,
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead,
yeah.
Dre. Take it away.
Man, I mean, y'all mentioned some really good stuff. I don't even know where to start, but a lot like what Days is saying. Like, I was,
Days.
I was in the womb of hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's like, all I remember is hip. It was like it was there from like when it was born, I was born. You know what I'm saying? And so when I think about my like earliest childhood memories, like kindergarten and all that, like hip hop things come to me. You know what I mean? So I go back to like popular with basically a lot of groups that people think like started it, like back to like the Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I'm saying? When hip hop was just putting things together and it was about having fun and just going out and everything was like lovely outside. It's just to the hip hop, the hibbit to the hip hop. You don't stop the rock to the bang bang boogie, the up jump the boogie to the
The
rhythm,
up jump the
beat.
boogie.
You know what I mean? Like
That's right.
just wow. You know what I mean? Like it was just beautiful. You know what I mean? So I come out like that, like, and I actually wrote some things down because I was hearing what y'all was saying. It's like, man, I come from like that era, like the beginning of it. I remember when hip hop was just, not popular and people thought it wasn't going to go anywhere. People was just like, this is crazy. It's not going nowhere. This is nuts. And it was, you did it because you loved it. There was no money in it. You know what I'm saying? It was very little money that you would get from it, and
Right.
you couldn't get played on the radio. So they used to have what was called, y'all, I'm sure y'all familiar with this. They had like jams in the park. You know what I mean? Where it was just big ass speakers, a DJ, and then cats rhyming. You know what I mean? Like one person to get on the rhyme, you get off. Another person get on, he rhyme. Then you had like your battles. And I wish Dex was still on here because it's funny. Like growing up in New York City, you realize that hip hop is just the birth of a bunch of different things kind of coming together. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a huge influence. So you think about quote unquote black music. It's like before hip hop, you got like R&B, and then from the Caribbean, you got like reggae coming in, soca coming from Trinidad and all that. And so it's blending all this kind of like rhyming styles because they was rhyming in reggae and all that,
Right.
So yeah, I just remember it as a baby, like man. And I wanted to mention like, yeah, like man, like Dex was saying, like the culture of it, how it influenced everything. It's nothing, especially being a New Yorker, it influenced everything. Like fashion. I remember, as a kid, and this is sort of like what they might call the conscious rap, right? The conscious rap era where people walked around with red, black, and green medallions. Young ladies would have Nefertiti earrings. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was all about like being black and being proud of that, and being intelligent black people. The rhymes were about that. So people for me that really influenced me, it's like, yeah, you got to go to your KRS-One. He had an album called My Philosophy, which was just like I remember at the time, I'm like, yo, I bought that album. I studied that. It was like I was having a test or something. Every word, was just because he would be so specific. Like, look up this in the Bible, King James verse blah blah blah, and just would
Wow.
like go off. You know what I mean? Public Enemy, like huge influence on the conscious tip. I want to mention a few other people. I remember Poor Righteous
Go for it.
Teachers. I don't know if you guys remember, like Poor Righteous Teachers
Yes.
was part
Yes.
of that, and it
Just
was just like,
another
yo, you know what I mean?
infinity.
But getting back to the influences, I heard Ness say this. Like, I was a big house head too, and you could see like the influence with some of the house beats going into hip hop. I was also into metal, what they used to call back then, like heavy metal or alternative. Like I remember alternative, they didn't have it was so different and new that they didn't know what to call it, so they would just call it alternative. But that reggae, and then later on, which is like way later on, it turned to like reggaeton. I remember being little and just being a New Yorker, listening to all the bachata and all that. Like it was just a dope time to be in New York because you had this plethora of different sounds coming from everywhere, and that's really what hip hop is. Like everybody mentioned Wu-Tang, but one thing about RZA is like that's what he used to say. It's like, yo, I would hear all these different sounds and think about how can I put this. This would be a dope sound. That'd be a dope sound. And people who had that ear would create these like dope ass beats. So yeah, like some of y'all mentioned, like I said, Public Enemy all day. I remember the radio stations when it started to get a little popular. I don't know if y'all remember a man called Red Alert. DJ Red Alert
course.
would play hip hop, and I used to be a kid. I used to wait for him to play certain joints and just sit there with my cassette and press record.
That's what you did. That's what you did. You're a child.
Yeah.
You're a child. What you gonna do? You
Put the
stay at home
tissue on the
Saturday
side
night.
of the tape. Put the tissue
That's
on the
right,
side
Dave.
of the tape.
Yeah.
Put some black
Wait
tape.
on the radio for the
Get you some
new
black
song.
tape.
You knew a new song was coming out.
You
knew
waited.
something new was coming.
You waited
Or
and you
somebody,
did it.
Yeah.
But check
Nah,
this
but just
out.
you
If you waited long enough and you did that for a while, you would have the dopest mixtape that everybody
Absolutely.
wanted.
Ever.
They'd be like, yo,
Absolutely.
you got this on there, you got that on there.
Put it down.
And
Don't put it down.
And not
Absolutely.
only that, you would hate to put into somebody's janky ass fucked up radio player or cassette player because it might eat up your shit. You'd be like, oh,
Eat your
all
shit.
the months that it took me, all the hours it took me recording that. You just destroyed it. Oh my God, I remember those days, bro.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Cause I'm a see-wit. I'm a snip it. Give me some tape.
Come on
Put it
now.
on the inside. Come on, Dre.
And you knew you did that.
Get the pencil. Get the
But
pencil.
but here you go. But check this out. But the day, check this out. You knew that happened because you'd be having something dope like and then all of a sudden go quiet for a minute, and then it'll come back on.
Biggie be sounding all chopped and screwed. I'm telling you.
Right.
But no, that's why I'm gonna make sure I get it right where it's at and put the tape behind it.
On there.
So it
I
don't-
remember those days, baby. Just analog. That's the way it was. I wanted to mention some cats like we know One DMC. Okay, fine, but do we remember the Fat Boys? You know what I'm saying?
Had that album.
The Fat Boys was the joint when he talked about hip hop. We can't talk about people like making stories unless we talk about Slick Rick. Slick Rick was the
ruler,
the master of these stories. I mean,
absolutely.
He had a cinematic mind. Like he could be doing screenplays. You know what I'm saying? The way it flowed, you saw this in your head when he rhymed. It was just like
Absolutely.
Wow.
I don't know if you know,
go through.
but a lot of people today say Nas is the best storyteller of all time. But Nas himself has said, I am influenced by Slick Rick. On the records, he said, I used to listen to the greatest adventures of Slick Rick and bug out how his mind used to be so slick.
Yo, man. So so you gotta understand me coming up as a kid, like I'm hearing all this.
Crazy.
I don't know if y'all remember, there used to be we talk about, okay, everybody knows Wu-Tang, big fly group. But before you had a Wu-Tang, you had groups like Juice Crew All Stars. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know what that is, like Google
Gucci rap.
the Juice Crew. The Coogee Rap
Gucci
used to
was my
guard on that.
guy,
Kane,
yo.
You know what I'm
Kane,
saying?
Bismarck,
Oh,
Coogee
now you
Rap,
talking.
Roxanne
Now
Shante,
you talking.
Marley Marl, Master
Ah,
Molly
Ace,
Mall.
hold on.
Master
Slow it down. You're
Ace.
right. But do you remember, if we're going to go there, do you remember the Roxanne battles? I'm the real Roxanne. No, I'm the
Yes,
real Roxanne.
yes.
Roxanne Shantae, Roxanne this and that. The
Was
Roxanne
it?
battles was the
Yeah,
best. And let me just say this.
amazing,
I feel
amazing.
like, and maybe we could transition this, but I feel like battling, like true battling, has brought out some of the best songs ever. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to sit there and
Absolutely,
write something
absolutely.
about, oh yeah, you're Adidas or whatever, okay. But when somebody come at you and you decide to come back and you come back super hard, we can sit back and look at Jay-Z and Nas and some of the gems that came out of there. I used to love. I couldn't wait for somebody to have some beef because I knew like, yo, oh, it's gonna come out now. You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, that was the great part about Saturday night was you knew if the Juice Crew said something last week, BDP's coming, something's coming out, the
And
next
they're gonna
Saturday.
drop
You knew it was
they're
coming,
gonna drop something just
and that's how
delicious, yo.
the bridges over came out, and it was nuts.
Right,
Red Alert
right,
spun the intro
right.
for like 10 minutes.
So
Yeah,
yeah, man, like
That's
I
crazy.
just want to mention Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my dudes too.
Yes.
Like it's really hard to say who's your favorite, but I'm just gonna mention certain names that I know influenced me. We all know Biggie, obviously. Y'all know how I feel about DMX. I still say to this day, DMX is my spirit animal. Like that's when I feel
You
like I
sure
need to
do.
get the roughest shit out, I'm gonna listen to some DMX and just destroy everything. You know what I mean? Like
That's
that's the
it.
way I feel.
amazing
You
rapper,
know,
absolutely
but
amazing, man. One of my
but at the
favorites.
same time, I love me some Jada. On that same sort of like kick. Obviously Nori, but let's take it back a little bit. Y'all remember Mob Deep? You know what I mean? Mob Deep was
Of
that
course.
shit. MOP, uh, lesser known
Oh yeah, MOP.
MOP, right? Lesser known cats. There used to be this group called the Alcoholics, and they did something with ODB.
Salute you. I salute you. I salute you for bringing
All
them up.
right,
I
the
salute you. They can
alcoholics,
rap,
right, right.
and they can
And
rap.
I'm really just
Yeah,
trying to like,
West
I,
Coast, West
I was
Coast.
I was really thinking about a lot of like indie cats, like you said, cats who didn't really they had
Yeah.
something, but you didn't hear much from them after that. Um,
Mm.
man, uh, here's a dude that y'all may know, and it's also like a member of my like actual about like AZ, the Firm, and all these.
All right. I will not hit the chat anymore so I can pay attention to everybody uh, who's recording and not recording. Thanks again, Ness.
Yep.
All right. Go ahead, Dre.
Yeah, man, I don't even know what I was saying, man. You just have to edit whatever. But I was
Listen,
trying to.
that's what I get paid the big bucks for.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I was trying to show, the evolution in terms of my head, what I've seen, where it's
Yeah.
like it started with just, I want to say sort of like candy kind of rap, just hip hop, everything having had a good time, everything was great. You got your jams in the park, and then all of a sudden it became very conscious because hip hop always tells the story of the street, and it was all the consciousness, and that's where Wu-Tang and everybody's coming from, leaders of the new school, all that fly shit. Then it kind of transitioned to the gangster stuff, but what started the gangster stuff really was NWA because they had that hit, "Fuck the Police," and that made
Right.
everybody kind of hear not just NWA, but what was going on the West Coast, because they was having huge. I mean, yeah, we was gangster, but not like these cats. The whole like Crips and Bloods, and that was in their music, and it was like a virus all over the fucking, every fucking hood was starting to develop, whether you were Blood or a Crip, and it was in everybody's music, and
Right.
and that was like around for a long time. But for me, the best part of hip hop for me, before I just go through all that, is like it was the conscious rap, man. I mean, I miss that because I miss this sense of people having pride and being intelligent, and reading and keep making everybody's sword sharp, Think about the time when we had all these old school rappers get together and made an album called Self Destruction. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like Self Destruction was crazy. I don't know if you'll ever have that again in hip hop where people just say,
I
"Yo,
don't know.
we got to do something about our youth. Yeah, we gonna do something about us being killed in these streets." and try to change the trajectory of hip hop. And I feel like record companies and even the country saw that as a threat,
Yeah.
and they tried and they did everything in their power to stop that, and they succeeded because it was no longer cool to be intelligent and well read. It
Right.
was now more. It was better to people rhyming more about how they've been to jail. I mean, some of y'all listening to this you may not know this, but cats like Noriega was huge on that. I mean, before he was doing drink champs and talking to everybody, like Nori was a rapper, what I mean, and had like dope ass albums, you know what I'm saying? But at that time, it was like this pride of have you been to jail before and how long you been to jail, and you ain't really a real thug until you go to jail. I mean, his whole shit was thug this, thug that, blah 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 blah. And like you, Dex, it's like I'm not trying to go down that path. These beats are hard and that rhyme is hard, so I'm gonna listen to it, but I'm definitely not trying to emulate your drug selling thug ass life. And we know at that time, man, mad rappers, if you was around, on a Dex, it's like mad rappers every other week it'd be a new rapper dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Every other week, oh, so-and-so was killed. This person was killed. Like we was around when Biggie was just another rapper, then all of a sudden he was iced. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
and then
right.
as soon as he got
Right.
iced, it's like, Biggie's the best rapper. And I always tell people this, like, they saying that now, but when Biggie was around, people wasn't calling him the best rapper. He was a good rapper. He was dope. He made some great
rapper.
hits. But people wasn't saying, oh, yeah,
definitely entertained by him. Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah.
nobody was like, yo, you're the best. Nah. But that's all good. But I'm just saying this is what I remember in terms of, like, seeing how it transitioned and things that people are saying, you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a crazy time, and I'm glad to see that, from that time things calmed down and you got cats, who, you got your Kanye's coming in, you know what I mean? And that Dropout album, was like probably the best thing for me anyway that Kanye had came out with, and it started going, in sort of like that direction. And I love where it's at now, where a lot of the females are feeling empowered to put their voice in hip hop, and especially if you can rhyme. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot of new cats where I'm like, oh, that person is great. There's a lot of garbage out there as far as I'm concerned. But I will say, like, the indie scene, I agree with you, Dex. The indie scene got some dope ass rappers who, unfortunately, it's like I'm listening to them like, yo, y'all cats is dope. But you so dope, you'll never be put on. You got to say the most ignorant, stupidest shit right now in order for you to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part about it, because I like y'all two brothers right here, you know what I mean? It's like, I know what y'all can do. I've seen y'all, like, and even if I didn't know y'all, I'd be like, yo, that cat is dope. It's mad
Absolutely.
times where I'll be like sitting here chilling with people, and I'd be like, you know what? Let's listen to some rappers that I know, and I might put a days on, and people who don't know you will be like, why isn't this person signed? Like, this is the flyest shit, like, and they have no idea, or they listen to Jay, you know what I'm saying? Or my nephew who's doing some shit, they just be like, that's a great fucking song. Like, I would definitely, like, where do I go to get that? Or some shit like that. And it's like, I don't understand why these people are not signed. It's like, well, you don't understand the temperature of hip hop right now. Unfortunately, it's about the silliest, stupidest things, I feel, and that kind of makes me sad. But I love to see the indie cats sort of keeping it alive, in terms of, like, telling the stories of the street, telling the stories of, like, what's really going on, and telling the stories are really of struggle. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to do this, I don't have this right now. I'm trying to make things happen. I'm doing what I need to do to get things. You telling your real, legitimate story, and it's not about, I was there when the whole, like, platinum shit was coming up, right? Everybody was platinum this, platinum that. Big L, may he rest in peace. He was another rapper that had a great career going, and all of a sudden he was iced, And it was this whole thing where it was like rap was incredibly fucking violent, and I'm glad to see it kind of turned away from that. I see it going back there a little bit, but not like when we was coming up. When we was
A
coming
lot
up,
of it.
yeah, you feel like it's going back there a lot more now. It's kind
I
of
mean,
going back to.
today we're seeing young rappers dying all the time.
That's true,
It
too.
It may not be the icon who's dying. Like,
That's true. No, you're right.
No, the people in your top 5, nah, they probably still alive. I mean, unless you got Biggie and Pac in there, but most of the quote unquote hottest rappers today, most of the legends, anybody who came out in the last 20 years who's like that top tier, they're alive and well. Right. It's all the new cats who's like, oh, I heard this one song from this artist. Man, they're great. They're about to break through. Oh, they died yesterday. Wait, what?
Yeah. And it's weird because
so often.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, because it's weird because cats are putting everything out there. It's not like when we was coming up where you might have to try to find out where this kid was. Now, because of social media, their whole shit is out there. You know, you got cats like, yeah, if you want that smoke, come visit me at so and so and so, and niggas is like, well, let's go see this nigga. You know what I mean? And actually icing dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that part to me is really sad. You know, but obviously, like I said, I noticed a lot of indie cats who are just like got the love for the art and just like, yo, I don't care if I never get paid doing this. This is what I'm going to do because I love it. And that's the shit that really gets me excited about the future of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? That, yes, this thing keeps going and we get to mold it and shape it to what we think it is and not industry cats or it's something that Nicki said, you know, her quote that she said, and she was so right. And once again, Nicki Minaj is another female rapper who I feel can actually rap. You know what I mean? It's dying, but there are some people who are still there. Where she was just like, you know, she was talking to a crowd and she's like, yo, when I was coming up, when I listened to the radio, I heard people who had, and I'm paraphrasing, who actually had like skill and who had talent. And you could listen to them and be like, wow, skill, talent. She said, but what y'all listening to now are people who are popular. They don't have skill or talent. They're just popular. They got 1 million followers. They got, you know, so-and-so on Twitter or whatever. And so because popularity has now overcome actual talent and skill, we're at this weird place in hip-hop. And it's sad. You know what I'm saying? It's sad because like I just described, I saw the beginnings of it where it was just like, man, this shit has really took off. You know, some of those people who are already named, Busta and all these cats, like, who could really come through and bringing all these different cultures together where now it's just like, what the fuck you call? I mean, y'all tell me, I know better than me, but it's like the whole shit with mumble rap. I think it's over now, but I don't know. But it's like that whole shit about 5-6 years ago when mumble rap was like a real fucking thing. I was just like, this is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, nah, this shit has to stop. Bring talent back in hip hop. You know what I mean? Learn your fucking craft. You want to be a performer? Be a dope ass performer. Learn to fucking write and put some shit together. Be skillful. Be witty. All those cats who we all mentioned, who like, we all said, yeah, that's my favorite one. They had skill, they had wit, they knew how to put shit together. Even at the so-called time of, you know, what I'm talking about, the gangster rappers, you know, yeah, DMX straight up was that dude, but he knew how to put some shit together. Nori straight up was that dude, you know, Nori and Capone and Noriega. You know what I mean? People don't really know about Capone, but if you out there, Google Capone and Noriega and you hear some fly shit. Their first album, The War Report, was crazy. You know what I mean? Now, it was definitely on some thug shit all day, violent shit all day, but at least they knew how to fucking rap. At least they knew how to bring some shit together. Go ahead.
The thing is this,
yeah.
and Jay said it best, Jay-Z said it best in 2003 on the Black Album. He said, if skill sold, truth be told, I'd probably be lyrically Talib Kweli. Truthfully, I want to rhyme like Common Sense. But I sold 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like Common Sense.
That's true.
I was going to say that.
I mean,
he's right. Go through.
He was very right. And the thing is that, like we say all the time today on Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast, today the industry is not built on those things.
Right.
Today the industry is set up in a copy and paste format. This is what we're looking for. This is who's going to be put in these positions. This is who we're going to, sign. It has nothing to do with skill.
Right.
Days could be the flyest nigga we all have ever heard. The best MC we all have ever heard. We could all write letters to Def Jam every day. Please sign Days the Emperor. Please sign Days the Emperor. Please sign Days. They don't care. The first thing they're going to say is, okay, does he have a hit? Oh, he got a lot of hits. All right, we like this guy. But how many followers does he have? Oh, he don't have 500,000? He never goes live? He can't sell out such and such venue? Sorry, Days, no deal for you.
Yeah.
It goes for everybody. I'm only using Days.
No, you're right.
He's here on the pod. I'm
No,
not picking on Days, but today, it's a lot more about popularity because today their format is a plug and play format.
Right.
If Dex tomorrow gets 1 million followers, it will be much easier for him to get a deal than me and Days. Why? Because they will pay songwriters that are already on staff to write the hit that Dex doesn't have yet. They will pay the hottest producers who they already have relationships with to make that hot beat, and then they'll put in their marketing dollars. All we got to do after that is say, okay, well, Dex has dreads. Dex, you're going to have to cut your dreads, and we know you're kind of conservative religious. We need you to be half naked in your video. Show them your fly six-pack. And now you got a 360 deal, which is a whole nother conversation. If you want those conversations, you could go to Let's Have a Real Conversation podcast.
And the last thing I say is that you're absolutely right, because with that marketing comes the control of the algorithm. We like to think that the algorithm is, non-biased and is objective and is fair, and we know that's bullshit. It's programmed like anything else. And so those who control the algorithm can put whoever they want up. You know what I'm saying? And so when you have those kind of connects, like you're talking about, these marketing cats who have these close relationships with people who control the algorithm, using Dex as an example, because that's who you use, they could easily be like, yo, pump the shit out of this. Make sure
now
this
Dex,
is in constant rotation.
Hit
and that's
that
what
we
happens.
created,
so people just get programmed.
He had nothing to do with it. We had a person write it. We had a person produce it. All Dex had to do was study it and recite it. Now that is on every playlist, on every platform. Every time you open Instagram and the other apps, it's the first thing that pops up on your screen. And that's it. Now Dex is, oh man. And now what everybody's saying, yo, you heard about this guy Dex? He blew up overnight. Where he came from?
Right, exactly. So, so for me, how I feel, because like I said, I was in the womb with it, as soon as it was born, I was born. You know what I mean? So I saw it as it's like, it was a baby, I was a baby. When it was in kindergarten, I was in kindergarten. You know what I mean? So it's like, I saw this shit, like, grew up with me. Like, oh, this is my dude. And so now, that is at its age, that's the age I'm at. So it's like, all right, well, you know what? Where are we going with this? And now you pass the baton, and it's scary now because it's not the dopest cats anymore. You know what I mean? But I'm happy to have those memories, and I'm glad we shared these memories. Everybody shared these memories because it was a great time while it could be. And I also want to have, let's say that, I'm also optimistic because I do believe everything will go 180 once again. We will get back to a point, and I do see it, little teeny bits. I see, some consciousness come through. Okay, now they call consciousness woke, which I feel like there's a big difference between being conscious and woke, but I'll let that go for now. But, as that is coming up, where people are like, no, I want to have conversations that are deeper. I want things that have real meaning. I can see the buds of real hip hop kind of like pointing up and coming through. And I want to believe that it will go back there, and that those kinds of performers and entertainers will once again,
you could chime in, because me and you are kind of, I guess, probably the better people to speak about this because we're front row with it. But I think it never left. And again, Days, you could chime in, but I think it never left. I think the powers that be, quote unquote, might be pushing certain narratives, might be pushing certain agendas, might be pushing certain genres or subgenres, but I think they're still conscious, they're still party, there's still everything. I think today we have everything, and I think today we can share it easier. You know, I don't have to get that cassette tape and put the tissue paper and all the things we said, because I could just say, "Hey Ness, did you see Lupe Fiasco drop this song at 3 in the morning? Oh,
Yeah,
Dre,
yeah.
did you see that Wu-Tang collaborated with this band from Germany?" You know what I'm saying? Like, today, I think everything is here. I think the only thing is, if we're talking mainstream,
Accessibility.
mainstream is not everything, right? Like, maybe mainstream, like if you turn on the radio, who I don't know who listens to the radio today, but if you turn on the
No, you're right.
radio, maybe there's more of a specific sound or a specific narrative. But today, playlist. Say it again, D. Right, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know. What do
Specific
you think, Days?
songs.
Do you think that
Yeah, radio's
these
radio's
things are
dead.
missing? I think
Playing
everything
like
is
this,
available
like
today.
Um,
What do you feel, Days?
power. I think everything is available. I just think that more choices. Like
Yeah,
people will complain about certain levels or certain levels of music not being available conceptually. That just lets me know that you're not looking, because you can find that genre or that concept that you're looking for on these platforms. We ain't gonna say the names. We know what they all are. If you looking for that, you can look for that. You understand what I'm saying? If that's what you want to hear specifically, you can get that specifically. Um, I think it's more widespread. I do agree with that. I think that is more widespread, but now you have the option to choose. Yeah, the radio gonna play what they feel is necessary to play to push whatever they need to push. You know, all of those institutions and those platforms, they gonna do what they need to do to support whatever system they support it. But outside of that, you as a consumer, you do have the choice to choose what it is that you want to engage in. So,
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. You're absolutely right, and you're right, Jay. It's like there's a lot of times where, you know, I know Jay will do this a lot of times, where Jay will be like, "Yo, Dre, have you heard of this person though?" You know, because it might make you sound, or I might do the same thing. Like you could share something way easier now, and I'd be like, "Yo, man, since I heard that, I've been listening to all they stuff." You know,
yeah.
one of the newer groups right now that are being compared to Wu-Tang, I think it's this group called Contra Costa or Costa Contra or something like that. You
awesome,
know what I'm talking about?
awesome,
Yeah,
awesome,
I love
awesome,
these young brothers.
awesome,
These young
awesome,
brothers are doing
amazing,
it. Like they are writing original shit
amazing.
with fly ass beats, and they saying
And see,
shit that
but
means
that's what I'm saying.
something.
That's why I
I'm
say I
sitting back
think
listening
today
to these
it's
cats
not,
like,
it
yo,
hasn't left.
I
I
love
think
y'all
the
young
way to
cats right
consume
there.
it has
You know what I'm
changed,
saying?
because
Yeah,
you mentioned them. I don't know them. I'm gonna be honest. Never heard of them before this conversation.
you're
Ness
right.
mentioned someone earlier I never heard of. When we end this recording, I could go look them up. Or
Yep.
let's do it a different way. Maybe you never heard of Nerdcore before. Me and Nestor had a conversation about Nerdcore, right? You could go right on whatever app you like. Like they said, they ain't pay us, we ain't saying names. But you could go on all of these
Right.
platforms and search Nerdcore. Mad playlist and music videos and songs are gonna pop up. Now you got a whole Nerdcore playlist. Now you like, yo, Ness, yo, did you hear about this person, son? Did you know Days did a song with Dex and they collabed with that guy? Yo, did you know right now me, Dex and Days, we about to collab with a dude for anime? Did you know that? And I think today it's all available. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you like is there, and you don't need to know the names. Like, even if you hear this podcast and you're 20 and
I
don't
agree.
listen to hip hop at all, but you're like, man, they were saying fly stuff. You could go do it. I mean, let's pull the curtain all the way back. I started listening to hip hop at 12. How do you think I know Rakim? How do you think I know KRS-One? How do you think I know any of the people we've all been discussing who came out before 1999? Because I had to go back. And it wasn't easy. It took me talking to some of y'all. Yo, Days, but
Right.
if I want to listen to somebody like this, who should I
Right.
listen to? Or Days would come to the crib. Oh, you bumping Rakim right now? Do you know this album from him? Word. You mean he went solo after? He wasn't with Eric B no more? Wow, that's crazy. You mean he got 5 solo albums? Whoa. Or like Tez said, go to your crib and it's like, yeah, nah, those Wu-Tang guys, they alright. I mean,
No.
they not all that. I guess they cool. And now, no, nigga, they are the shit. And not only do I listen to them, but I listen to mad other people who I roll with them. Like, that's what I'm saying.
And that's what, if you real about music, that's what you're supposed to do, because as we all said, Wu-Tang, but what made Wu-Tang so great? They kept going back in the crates. They'd go to the 99-cent store, and all those albums and CDs that you laugh at, they'd be like, no, we take all of it. Thank you. You know what I mean? And so I remember a quote that Old Dirty said, Old Dirty was like, Wu-Tang Clan is the new John Coltrane, which was like crazy, because John Coltrane is jazz. And when jazz came out, jazz was a lot like hip hop. Jazz was this thing that you wasn't supposed to listen to, and it was going to be dangerous and blah, blah, blah. And then it blew up. Now there's like jazz museums, right? But when it first came out, when it was jazz was just a baby, everybody was like, yo, jazz is crazy. But Wu was always on that. They like, yo, we going to get the Funkadelics to play on our shit. You know what I mean? They took the responsibility, and I know I have too. Like, I'm going to listen to something that my moms would listen to. Yo, I'm about to put on this Beatles album. Like, why the Beatles was so fly? Put that on. Let me see what they talking about. Yeah. Oh, I see what they saying right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so if you're a real music person and you appreciate music, you're right, Jay. You do take it a couple of generations back. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I want to, I know when Jay saying I would be, I'd be like, yo, Jay, we about to listen to what's his name? Rick right. James. Right? Be like, yo, son, you hanging out with us? Yo, we about to put on this Rick, son, and we gonna drink and we gonna have a good time. And Jay be like, yo, do that shit and be open. Like, that's the way you're supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to pass the shit down. And Rick is certainly like not my generation, because when he came out, I'm a fucking kid. You know what I mean? I'm not partying to him. You know what I mean? That's my mom's listening to Rick and partying to him. But I definitely heard it. Yeah, I definitely heard it. Was like, yo, this shit was great. So yes, you're right. As a music listener, it's beautiful that you can go back a few generations and see where the influences come from. I mean, all that shit from Puffy, all he would do was just go back a couple of generations ago and remake shit. Go through.
Yeah, take hits from the 80s.
Yeah.
I think that's probably like one of my favorite things about hip hop too. Like I had mentioned before, is that it like is that it sits there and pulls from like all whatever styles, whatever decades.
That was
and
Puffy style.
Like a big difference. That. Yeah, a big difference is it's kind of cannibalizing itself.
Right.
Like the samples you'll hear are just from older hip hop tracks.
Yeah,
and it's like there's other music out there. Go out, explore, expand,
right. I keep hearing old EPMD joints getting played now, and I'm like, do y'all know who EPMD is? You know what I'm saying? But back in the days, James Brown was like, what are these people doing with my music? Because everybody was taking James Brown songs and chopping the shit out of them, you know what I mean? But that's the way it is. But that's absolutely perfect. You're right, because that's all cats are doing. They taking shit from like 80s, 90s hip hop, and like that's a dope ass beat.
Like it's cool, it's awesome, and it's like nice to see that they're like catching the history, but at the same time,
are y'all old enough to remember the Beat Nuts?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You remember the Beat Nuts? Beat Nuts used to have some crazy beats. I'm hearing Beat Nuts beats now on some of the newest shit.
Yeah.
I mean, J-Lo took "Watch Out Now" beat for the Jenny from the Block.
Yeah. So
I love that "Watch Out Now." You know, what I mean, I really thought it was an amazing beat. You know, so yeah, I mean, a kid just the other day took Nelly's "Hot in Here." Anybody heard that? Some kid, I forget who it was. Some kid took that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So anything that's like it's been like 20 years back is open now. Yeah. Right, it's open because these new kids, you think about somebody that's 15 years old, they don't know Nelly, you know what I'm saying? Like they like you play some shit, they be like, who the fuck is Exhibit? I don't know who the fuck is right? Like and he was big. He had fucking songs
right now. It's historical, right?
Right, but you say you play Exhibit to a 50-year-old kid, it's like wow, right? It's like that, and if he's a rapper, he feels like that's a dope beat. He gonna take that shit. Why not?
Yep.
No, that's a fact. That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah,
that's crazy when you think about it. If I hear another Mary J. Blige sample on a goddamn
Oh, let's not even get into R&B. Let's not even
bro.
get into
They
the
tearing,
R&B,
they
bro.
tearing
don't
Mary
even go
up.
there.
They tearing
That's another
Mary
hour.
up.
Another hour
They
discussion.
taking the
Right,
whole
right,
R&B.
right.
411 album. You hear me, Dre? The whole 411 album is getting sampled. B, you hear me? I'm even on that.
Son.
I got at least like 3 joints off that already. I had it since the '90s before they was born, so they gotta go back.
Bro, if it
Word
was
of
just
mother.
that, it was just that. I mean, you got to go to other genres and shit too, because, like I said in the beginning, like you look at like reggae when reggae started mixing with hip hop. When you look at like Shabba Rank shit, you know what I'm saying? Trailer Load of Girls type shit. All this shit was like heavy influence, and I'm hearing some of these beats come in. I'd be like, wait, hold on, you know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is that right there? You know what I'm saying? So everything, yo, is
Super
open.
Cat. Everything.
Ooh.
Super
Super cat.
Cat.
Oh,
You gotta say it
all
like
that
that.
shit,
You
man.
gotta super cat. You cannot say it no other way.
You
You
know what I'm
cannot say it
saying?
himself. You must super cat. You have to say it like that.
Yo,
You know, I'm
it's
telling you.
fucking amazing, man. But you know, man, I'm not mad at it. You know, only thing I'm saying, if you're gonna take a fucking classic beat like you saying, Days, like, okay, you're gonna take this classic beat, you better do some fly shit with it. My problem is you take this classic beat and you just pissing on it. Like, what the fuck are you
That's a
doing,
great
man? Like,
perspective.
you
That's such
just
a raw
really just
perspective.
you're
Word of mother.
urinating on some fly
Why
shit.
you dancing? Why you dancing? You urinating on it. Why you dancing?
This is not. No, I'm sorry. That's
Man.
blasphemy. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
blasphemy to my
Yeah.
ears. That's blasphemy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not mad at nobody who take a beat and do some fly shit. Be like, yo, you said, yo, he took that big pun beat and did some fly shit with it. That
Okay,
shit is hot, right? But nah, that's to me that's rare. I don't really hear that. But like you said, Days, you right. Like you, I guess, like you can go back and look for cats right now who are out who probably are not as popular, but they're there. And the one thing I do like about that is that when these cats do go to tour, because they're in smaller venues, you can enjoy them more. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just be like, oh man, so and so tweeted, hey y'all, I'm gonna be in New Orleans at the so and so, whoever's in town. He might not have 50,000 followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He might just have, a couple of thousand, whatever. But if you're there, you're like, yo, I know that venue. I'm gonna go and see this dude. Like, his shit is hot. I don't give a fuck if nobody ain't there but me. I'm gonna be there because that's some fucking fly shit. Maybe you get to meet the cat, you know what I mean? Because it is so bifurcated and separated that, you actually have to. If you like somebody right now, it's kind of like your responsibility to like follow them on this, follow them on that. They
Do your
tweet out, I'm
homework.
gonna be here, or yeah, and they put out on Instagram, yo, I'm gonna be in your town or whatever, and they'll be at these small venues, and you just like, man, I was like this close to this dude, and we, like you just said, like, we had a conversation, and shit was hot. I'm digging this person even more now because I realized more than just a performer, they're a dope person as well, and so I do appreciate that, but I also feel like, yo, artists like that deserve, because they put so much work in, they deserve so much more. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can definitely see that because they stay much
And
more
I'm just
authentic.
hoping. Yeah, I'm just hoping also, with all the celebrations, all these older groups at least tour more or do more performances. Like just like classic rock bands come around, everybody goes to see the classic rock. Let's do the same thing. You know what I mean? All right. Wu-Tang come out, everybody goes to go see Wu-Tang. Big Daddy Kane do something, we all go see that.
Set up
Let's
that union.
let's enjoy that too.
Set up that union.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Get
totally.
some of these brothers paid, man,
Yeah,
so they could get their
yeah,
health right, so they could
yeah,
be on
yeah,
that tour. Like
yeah,
you said, some of these brothers gotta
yeah,
take better care of their health as well. We need that in hip hop. Some
yeah,
type of union,
yeah,
situation where
yeah,
brothers could get situated. Some of the
yeah,
founders,
bro.
some of the
I
cultivators,
agree.
the pioneers.
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes,
Nas
sir.
be saying, man, those brothers had a strong hand in it, so they definitely deserve
mm,
that. They just do,
yeah,
you know.
I
yeah,
completely agree, man. Like, it is it's kind of like the responsibility, and you do want to see these cats, go do their chores and get their respect, and now the whole term of giving cats their flowers, you know what I mean? I like seeing stuff like that where you're like, hey, we're not gonna wait for this person to actually die to be like, yo, you're that dude, and we're gonna give you your credit and everything you deserve right now while you're alive. That's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad that's coming up, you know what I mean? Because everybody is getting older, and you want to pay tribute to them while they're here, you know what I'm saying? And the more we can do that, the better.
Can y'all hear me? Can y'all see me?
I see you and I hear you, brother.
Yes.
All right. Nigga had to go mobile on him. I don't know what happened. I'm saying?
Brothers, I'm going to have to head out.
Yeah.
I have to get
we can.
ridiculously early.
No, it's all good.
Yeah, we can end it.
Right, I was gonna say,
brothers,
I think this is a good place to end it. We did pretty much our time, and
Right.
We'll use our other topics for another time. Thank y'all for being here, and we will see y'all on the next episode of Man Cave
brothers.
Monday.
Now we out here.
Peace. I'll talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Can I get a spoon? Enough respect due to the 1-6. Ooh, I mean, check out the flow like a Hudson, the PCP. When I'm dusting, niggas off because I'm hot like so. The smoke from the little makes me. All right, talk to y'all later.
Smoke, get your brains to the hell race up.
That's it.